What differentiates high-growth sales, marketing, and service teams from their competitors? I've worked with over 1,000 sales, marketing, and service teams in my career. I worked at Salesforce as they grew from $5 billion to $10 billion in revenue in 3 years, and have seen them grow to $20 billion since I left. I worked with dozens of companies that grew rapidly to $50 million in revenue, $100 million, and well beyond. And then I've worked with hundreds of other companies that have been growing slowly over decades or barely staying alive. What separates these top performers from the rest? Well, there's a lot. Great product, amazing people, strategy, but building a repeatable, scalable, integrated revenue engine is a big piece of this. From what I saw working at Salesforce, and with all of my highest growth customers, their leadership team put in the time and effort to think extremely carefully about their step-by-step process to attract, retain, and grow customers. In this video, I want to share with you how they do this, and I'll dive into details in subsequent videos. I'm going to break this down into the following components. Strategy, meaning identifying your ideal customer profile and the channel-by-channel strategy to get to that customer. The process, mapping out the process step-by-step, channel-by-channel. Data, determining the KPIs and the data that needs to be tracked throughout the process. Technology, building the technology and training the people to gather the right data and execute the process. And then finally, analysis, getting data-driven insights to the executive team, reviewing the strategy, the process, the data, and the technology to gain insights into where you can make changes in your business. And then lastly, taking action, actually updating the strategy, the process, the data, the technology, and optimizing the people, providing them with adequate training to execute. And what's most important is thinking about how we can make this repeatable and scalable, instead of relying on hiring a few rainmakers and amazing marketers in hopes that they'll achieve the growth for us. So let's first dive into strategy. Strategy is obviously the foundation for everything you need to do in building a scalable revenue engine. You start by identifying your ideal customer profile and then mapping out the strategy to attract them via various sales and marketing channels. From outbound prospecting to inbound marketing to retaining and growing existing customers, if you don't have a clear idea of your ideal customer and what you need to do to attract, retain, and grow them, nothing else you do will work very effectively. Moving on to process. Once you have the strategy down, it's important to map the process step by step and provide clear definitions for what those steps are across marketing, sales, and service. Most companies skip right past this. They hire some salespeople and some marketers, and they just tell them to get to work. No one is rowing in unison. Everyone has a different process, and it's impossible to make it repeatable. The next person hired has to dive in and just figure it out, and it's hard to tell when, where, and why things are working or not working. Let's talk about the middle of the sales process as an example. If your sales process involves running discovery, then doing a presentation, then providing a proposal, you should think clearly around what each of these steps entails, what your salespeople need to do in each step and between each step, and what's required to move an opportunity from one stage to the next. This is the only way you can get the right data, the right technology, and the right analytics to execute, analyze, and repeat and scale this process. The same goes for every other aspect of marketing, sales, and service. Let's move on to data. Once you have your process mapped out, it's critical to define the KPIs and other data you need to collect as early on as possible. Most organizations don't realize they need certain data until they try to analyze something and they don't have it. Then it can take months or even years to fix the data structure, training the team to use the systems properly to collect that data, and then waiting for that data to be aggregated over enough time to provide any meaningful insights. If your sales cycle is 90 days, you'll have very little data points even 3 months from now after fixing the data issue. Finally, let's talk about analysis. Analysis, in my opinion, is what separates the wheat from the chaff here. Most revenue organizations, even when they've built a great foundation, set up a basic dashboard to see how sales are progressing and call it a day. They don't invest the time and money to have the people and tools to pull meaningful insights from their data. They try executing a strategy based on gut intuition and then have very little clarity on whether or not it's working and why. Additionally, marketers tend to do a better job of this, but most organizations struggle to connect the dots into sales and service. Building a scalable revenue engine requires somebody to take a hard look at the entire customer journey, the data points across marketing, sales, and service, and bring meaningful insights back to leadership. Leadership then needs to take the time to ask if they're still targeting the right customer, if they still have the right strategy, and if their people and process needs enhancements. Finally, you need to take action. You've done the hard work of aggregating this data and analyzing how your strategy and process are working, but this is all for nothing if you don't take action to improve. Top-performing revenue organizations are on a never-ending journey to optimize every aspect of this, and leadership invests significant energy to ensure that they're targeting the right customers with the right strategy, people, and process. Revenue operations, which I'll go over in a separate video, is then responsible for managing the tech stack and continuously optimizing it to make the revenue team more efficient and effective while simultaneously building a better data structure to bring more valuable insights to leadership. Finally, you have to make this repeatable and scalable. Having this all mapped out should enable you to know exactly who you need to hire next, what they need to be trained on, and you should already have a system in place to make it easy for them to ramp up to productivity. As you review the data in the process, you have to ask if you're creating something that the next hire can execute, or if you're relying on a process that cannot be repeated and scaled. So going back to the over 1,000 sales, marketing, and service teams that I've worked with in my career, it's been really clear that the top performers have really nailed their strategy, their process, their data, their technology, and the analysis that they do to then take action and build a repeatable and scalable sales, marketing, and service process so that they can know exactly who to hire, onboard them and train them quickly, get them to productivity, and then move on to the next piece of the puzzle to continue to optimize this engine over time and grow their revenue faster than their competitors. Reach out to me if you'd like to discuss how Union Square Consulting could help your team build a scalable and repeatable revenue engine, or check out some of the other videos we've made where we dive into detail on some of these specific topics.